The Annapurna Circuit, one of the world's oldest and most difficult long-distance treks. Sub-zero temperatures of up to minus 15 degrees Celsius, wind speeds that could reach 50 kilometers per hour, and a highest altitude of 5,416 meters above sea level. It's also one of the world's most beautiful and diverse treks. Subtropical rainforests, alpine meadows, glaciers, incredible views of close to a dozen of the world's tallest peaks, over 8,000 meters tall. The circuit is located in central Nepal, a landlocked country in the center of South Asia, home to Mount Everest.
Hello.
I was excited to do it, but I never imagined I'd be winging it in winter. No guide, no porter, no pre-booked accommodations. And I didn't realize how much it would break me.
It was just very difficult for me to breathe and go up, and
On November 24th, 2023, we began our journey. Walking to Gongabu Bus Park, which was just 5 kilometers away from our hostel in Tamil, Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. There, we bought 3 tickets to Besisahar, a small town 170 kilometers away, the jump-off point for the Annapurna treks. The ride sucked. How do we end up on this crowded public bus? Well, let me explain. If you search online, you'll typically find different itineraries for the circuit. Anywhere between 10 to 16 days and 130 to 230 kilometers. Because the trek follows a long loop, with numerous villages along the way and jeeps for hire near the start and the end, you can be flexible with your route. Go with the flow. 10 days with a guide, $490 US, all in except meals. That was the plan. But my friends had other ideas. No porter, no guide, all on our own. They wanted a more unique experience. I was worried we'd get lost. I had 12 days in Nepal before my flight to Taiwan. Worse, it was almost winter. Hostels were closing down. We could get stranded outside for the night in potentially sub-zero temperatures. But trekking by ourselves also meant a quieter and more intimate experience with nature. More freedom, and a greater sense of achievement. In the end, my curiosity got the better of me. So far, we were doing okay. And taking the public bus was definitely a more intimate experience. Typically, trekkers would start at Besisahar. But because Alex and I were short of time and Besisahar had become increasingly polluted and overcrowded, we opted to start at Jagat instead, a small village 60 kilometers away. The plan was to charter a jeep. Tourism was common, and the jeep would come to us.
oh yeah!
Unfortunately, the jeep was worse than the bus.
Worse than Hashang.
Despite the rugged dirt roads, the landscape was a half-urban sprawl, brought about by well-meaning but perhaps haphazard industrialization. I couldn't help but wonder if it was the right decision to wing it. But as we approached more remote areas, the views started to come alive. And after 4 hours on the jeep, I finally arrived. Jagat. Eager for dinner and rest, we settled into the nearest homestay. And for dinner, we had the first of many dalbats. A delicious rice, meat, and lentil dish. Best of all, it's served on a refillable basis.
Of the chicken sauce,
Locals
onions
swear
and
by it.
mushrooms.
Dal bat power,
24 hours.
Oh.
Something goes wrong.
Oh, sorry.
As if to validate our decision to wing it, our homestay owner informed us of a hot spring he owned a couple meters below. The walk was far from relaxing.
Lance, can I have your headlight? Not the safest railing. Slow and steady.
I have to settle without.
Is that the hot spring?
But it was worth it.
Guys, we're gonna go to the hot spring now. We don't have any clothes, so we'll just go naked.
I felt so small and insignificant.
Yeah, you can see the moon.
But I also felt so alive.
And it's so windy, and it's just wow, what an amazing feeling.
The world was big. This was the start of our adventure. Jagat was beautiful. Despite modern facilities, it retained its rustic vibe. And fresh from last night's springs and this morning's views, we were eager to start our trek.
Papad, some potato aloo.
The most important thing was water.
1.5-liter Nalgene.
I filled up 2 liters and popped in some chlorine tablets, which we bought in Kathmandu. Each tablet disinfected up to 1 liter of water after 30 minutes of immersion. Piotrek brought his chocolate bars, and Alex snuck in a few reps. Today, we needed to navigate and cover 15 kilometers, climbing up 600 meters in elevation to reach the next town, Dharapani. Thankfully, the trail was on the same road we used to get from Besisahar to Jagat by a jeep, and the homestay owner kindly pointed us in the right way. I knew that the landscape in Annapurna would vary, but I wasn't expecting subtropical. I ended up sweating more than expected.
Tastes like chlorine.
As we ascended past Chame, the landscape continued to change. Huge rock cliffs, steep passes, and a series of waterfalls that grew more majestic at each turn.
Walking by in the street, and there's this massive waterfall just on the side of the road.
Being able to experience all this beauty by ourselves was such a joy.
And way down. We are in the Himalayas! Woo!
I felt like a kid again,
We found a German cowboy.
and the world was my playground. But things took an unexpected turn.
Dharapani, okay.
Guys.
It started to rain.
It's not raining pretty hard. It's like, it'll get harder and harder. So.
If you're gonna go to Iceland to see the northern lights,
Yeah.
And all the running and steep ascents caught up to me.
I'm sorry, I'm German. See you in the next town.
My bag straps were loaded wrong.
I'm blitzing through this trail.
There was too much weight on my hips instead of my
It's a
back.
lot colder here by the river.
I started to cramp up badly by the side of the road. I guess this is why people hire porters. Thankfully,
Annapurna circuit.
Alex helped me stretch my quads, and we decided to take a break.
Last break before we make it to Dharapani or wherever we're gonna stay.
Seeing the rush of the great Marsyangdi River below, I felt deeply moved.
Over millions of years, how it was like carved into water erosion.
This was the beauty I needed to see, and this was a small price to pay. We made it to Dharapani at 5:30 p.m. just as the sun set.
Look how the sun is hitting.
It was winter season, and most hostels were closing.
And just like that, it's pitch black.
We found a place to crash,
This is our hostel for the night, Tashi Delek Hotel and Restaurant.
and were offered a great deal.
We got the night for free, but we just only have to pay for breakfast and dinner. Got Wi-Fi, got hot water.
We celebrated with some
Yeah.
dal bat and apple pie.
Power.
Absolute strudel.
You good?
Piotr was kind enough to
Where
share
did you
his whiskey.
steal that, Piotr?
And
Go
we had a
on, Alex, stick
lovely
your thumb in
evening
there.
of German card games and shenanigans. It was simple, but I enjoyed greatly. For the next few days, these little breaks would be our source of joy. Calm before the storm.
Oh, I look so wild. For the friendship.
For the friendship.
friendship.
For the Annapurna circuit. It's a desert.
30 minutes ago, you could still see
By
light.
9:30 p.m.,
Now,
we were ready to turn in. Temperatures had dropped to 10 degrees,
He's warm,
and we warmed
guys.
ourselves by bunching our
Yeah.
sleeping bags.
I hope I'm warm too.
Waking up was harder than I expected. It was cold. Thankfully,
Nice
the shower was hot. Very hot.
Tibetan bread.
After some
Oh,
Tibetan bread, we were off to Chame, an administrative hub located centrally along the circuit. 15 kilometers of walking and 900 meters of climbing. We passed by our first of many checkpoints. I didn't realize it at the time because I was busy trying to see which country had the most trekkers. But for trekkers like us with no guides, these checkpoints were important. Aside from verifying if you had the right permits, they were used to track lost trekkers and give weather updates. Weather. Something you couldn't really control. In October 2014, Nepal had its worst trekking disaster. 43 people killed along this very circuit due to a snowstorm that brought down close to 6 feet of snow in less than 12 hours. Only time would tell if we would have clear skies to push for Thorong, the highest point of this trek. In the meantime, we continued on our trek. Chupa chups! The further we climbed, the more it became clear we were stepping into a different world.
Army of Nepalese goats, attack!
Even the village we stopped at, Timang, looked as if it was from a different time.
Very cute. So far today, this is one of the best views we've had.
The perfect place to have some lunch while enjoying the views of Manaslu, the 8th highest mountain in the world.
Mysterious power who created that mountain and
Yeah.
all over it. It's so crazy.
We're walking to Chame. It's another 6 kilometers, maybe 2 hours and a half or 3 hours at my snail-like pace.
Out of the blue, Alex suggested we trek separately.
Both roads lead to Chame. One of them is the road, one of them is the trail. So let's take the trekking trail, guys.
I didn't expect it to have that big of an effect. Walking by myself was a totally different experience. I began to slow down and notice things. Noticing these things helped me notice my thoughts.
The past few days has been fun trekking the trail, but at the same time I kept finding myself looking for something else, worrying about things, just not being able to be in the moment. You know what I do when I get back home, going
But
back to work.
As I thought about these things while I trekked slowly,
And
I
think
began to appreciate even these little annoyances.
all of a sudden I'm not worrying about anything. I'm just so happy I'm getting to walk through this special trek, this special place. Not everyone has this opportunity to do this trek. Should not take it for granted.
Every part of this trek had meaning and beauty.
I loved knowing. After the bridge, across a steep set of stairs.
And I was excited to share it with my friends in the coming days ahead.
Looks very dangerous.
Second day of eating papad every day.
I would eat it all day.
Good. Perfect.
Thank you.
Power.
Getting your body to move at 6 a.m. in -5 degrees is hard. I was starting to feel the fatigue from the previous days. Today's target was Pisang, only 13 kilometers away, but at an altitude of 3.3 thousand meters. It would be the first time we'd crossed the 3,000 threshold. Altitude sickness was likely to kick in. But waking up under the shadow of Annapurna 2 was exhilarating. And after some morning shenanigans and being greeted by the Nepali army who were casually jogging at 2.7 thousand meters,
Day 3 with these fools!
I was determined to start the trek strong. The trail was beautiful in the early morning.
Really fluffy.
I kind of get a feel of what to change.
Jump! Woo!
But I was finding it harder to breathe during the uphills.
Oh, careful. Less videos, more walking. But overall, we're doing good. How are you feeling?
Like in Poland. It's Polish forests in the Himalayas.
I was getting dehydrated faster.
Maybe it's medicine. We started taking Diamox yesterday. It's recommended to take it one day before you do a high altitude of above 3,000. I had diarrhea a few days ago, and I'm just finishing the antibiotic cycle of 3 days. So because of all that, we're a bit hungrier than usual today. We drink more water, we pee more, a bit more tired, so...
Just as I began to tire, we reached Bratang, a village on the way to Pisang known for its apple orchards. And there, in this small town in the Himalayas with less than 100 residents, I had the best pie of my life.
Apple pie donut?
Yeah, I think it's like fried donuts and
So
then with
good.
apple tea.
Oh, it tastes so good.
You have a hand left to chill.
Na zdrowie panowie.
Na zdrowie penomie.
Ah, very nice.
We continued on past Bratang, passing through a path carved against a limestone cliff.
He's a good boy.
There,
You're
we
a
met
good boy.
our fourth companion,
You're a good
Appa.
boy.
a scruffy mountain bike.
It's pretty solid.
Together, we greeted the familiar river.
It's about like 40 meters because the stone takes like about 5 seconds. 9.81 meters per second.
Let's see.
Like 3 seconds, I guess.
And we skipped along, enjoying Appa's company
Yip yip, Appa.
and the trees around us.
He found us again. He's our new friend for the day.
Oh wow, it's a tree.
It feels like the foosball or the kushball we used to play with as kids. Wow, I can't wait to get up there. Crazy, guys.
We're not going there.
Oh. Okay. Most people want stuff from civilization.
Together, we made it to
We made
Dukur
it.
Pakari, the last
5
village
kilometers.
before Upper Pisang. And we met other trekkers.
Oh, got the eagle. Boom. Is it a fishing hat? No.
No,
It wasn't
no,
just us trekking without a guide or
stuff on it.
porter.
things that I see like
Yeah. What's your name, man?
Saligram.
Nice to meet you, Lance. About the stuff he's seeing, like the plants, the timing.
Yeah.
He didn't bring a phone. He's doing everything without a phone, bro.
Wow.
11 days though.
I like to stop and I like to just chill.
Pick up stuff, yeah, yeah.
And
We had met
then I went
someone
into Kuti
far more extreme.
in Bulbule and I slept in the waterfall. Totally lost myself, you can see here. Like I went to another trail and I come back.
Trekkers typically have two options to reach Pisang. Trek to Lower Pisang, just 3.5 kilometers away, or head to Upper Pisang, which is 5 kilometers away and involves a steep ascent, but offers better views of the whole Annapurna range. Inspired by Saligram and our previous adventures, we naturally chose Upper Pisang. And I again took time to appreciate my surroundings.
Look at the color, it's green.
One of the best things about the Annapurna over the Everest and others is the immense diversity of the flora and the fauna.
Can I walk
Yeah,
from the others to the others? But this is between us and kind of his sense of humor.
and of course, if you're lucky, you see a beautiful sight like this. You see light streaming from the sun, casting a beautiful, I don't know, a stream of light.
Before long, we had arrived. Upper Pisang.
Made it to Upper Pisang.
Thank you.
We quickly chose a room for the night and settled in.
Do you like the rooms, Alex?
I love them.
Piotr hates them.
No, it's
I mean, I'm not.
very beautiful.
No, it's not beautiful.
It's amazing.
It's cozy.
We grabbed dinner and prepared to sleep early.
My love for dalbat is diminishing.
I don't want to eat dalbat anymore.
It was starting to get really cold, at least minus 5 degrees or lower. And we were worried that altitude sickness would soon hit. Upper Pisang was a far cry from Chame. Against the imposing Annapurna 2, it's hard to notice. Identifiable only through gentle puffs of smoke, coming from simple guest houses.
Yak attack.
We began trekking at 7:30 a.m. that morning. Reddish-brown shrubs lit up a valley. In just one day, after just one village, we had gone from spring to autumn.
Annapurna 2, right behind me.
It was the scale too. The path was wider, the hillsides more bare. Each cross-section of the valley seemed to get larger. The bridges higher and longer. The fact that we were alone only made us feel smaller. It was a whole new world.
This hike
It was also a
Annapurna
whole new world of pain.
was some of the most brutal ever, because first time really hiking above 3,000 miles above sea level, and there was a continuous uphill that just went on for almost an hour.
The first thing I noticed was the cold.
It's a lot colder today. I'm wearing almost all my layers, and I'm still feeling a bit cold. It's minus 1 degrees, you know?
But what really hurt me was the steepness.
And the high altitude combined with the uphill just hurt my lungs so much. It just really made me so tired breathing wise.
We were hiking 13 kilometers today, climbing up from 3.3 thousand to 3.5 thousand meters above sea level to reach Manang. That's only 240 meters gained. But in truth, we'd be climbing up 500 meters before going down 300 meters. My body just wasn't cooperating. Unfortunately, the best things in life require some form of sacrifice. Reaching Gyaru, the stopover point, was definitely worth it. Known for its Tibetan-style architecture, what really makes Gyaru special are the views. A panorama of the world's highest mountains. Annapurna 2, 3, 4, and even Gangapurna. It was incredible.
Dalbat power!
More than anything, it was a chance for me to finally catch my breath. The next section was downhill. It was steep and the wind bit hard. Thankfully, Alex suggested we grab lunch.
We're supposed to go straight to home there, but we were feeling a bit tired, so I decided to rest here for a few minutes. We're almost halfway, more than halfway to Manang, trekking at 3.7k miles above sea level.
And there, I had my first taste of yak pizza.
I think this yak was the one I saw earlier.
Ah, okay, nice.
It's delicious, bro.
Yeah?
Way better than dalbat.
It gave me enough energy to get to Manang,
So far,
though I was worried about my growing colds.
doing quite well.
On the way to Manang, I saw the last thing you'd expect in the Himalayas.
3,700 meters above sea level, in the middle of the Annapurna mountains, in this random village filled with yaks. Of course, we've got a basketball court. Why? Because ball is life, my friends.
We descended again to the riverbed. The valley grew wider and even more barren. We were getting close.
It's a hairy donkey. Think I can touch him?
Maybe. Hello, donkey, how are you doing? Seems to be doing alright. There's a wild yak!
I had arrived. This was the great wilderness. And in that moment, I was free. This is only the beginning. The real trek starts now.
After 6 hours of walking, my friends! Woo!
Soon we reached Manang. Nothing could prepare me for what was about to happen next. Alex wanted to change course. Trekkers in Manang typically have a couple of options. Take a day or two to acclimatize in Manang with day trips to Kichotal or Gangapurna Lake, no more than 5 kilometers away and no higher than 4,600. Or cover 22 kilometers towards Tilicho Lake, one of the highest glacial lakes in the world at 4,919 meters. I was worried. Tilicho was a whole 1,400 meters higher than Manang.
Tomorrow, if we feel good, to head to Tilicho Lake, which is a bit of a detour. If that goes well, we do that, and we see how our bodies can handle. It's 600 meters going up, which will be a bit tough, because normally they only recommend 500. So we'll take it slow, and the moment something goes bad, I head back down to Manang, sleep, take it easy, and go solo and do my original trek. So tomorrow will be a big day in terms of if the group, if the gang, if the ALP, Alex, Lance, Peter gang stays together, or if we split up and go our separate ways. So
In the meantime, we celebrated today's trek with some delicious yak steak.
it's good. Reminds me of beef yakiniku from Japan. Are you not a vegan?
Vegetarian.
And yak is a vegetable?
Yeah. Look at the jump.
4 days of eating dalbat, Alex. How is it?
We woke up the next day with great energy. Perhaps due to the rugged beauty of Manang. Or the powerful bray of the yaks. Or simply the promise of a new level of adventure.
When I say yak, you say yak. Yak.
Yak.
Yak.
Yak.
Yeah.
After checking in our second checkpoint, I decided to go for it.
You walk around, I guess.
Tilicho Base Camp.
I'm pleased to say we are trying the 600-meter elevation. If things go bad, then I walk down. The group is sticking together, ALP.
The views didn't disappoint. The Annapurna peaks,
Well, I said there are
former
3 people
giants in the
above us.
horizon, seemed close enough to touch now.
You see, this is the glacier.
Yeah.
It was surreal. We were so high up.
We are once again on top of a shaky bridge. Thorong La, This way.
And despite the altitude,
Tilicho Lake.
we were having quite the fun.
This way. Germany declares war on Austria. Again. Again?
Little mishaps were met with laughter.
I'm with my German adventurer, Alex. He's our navigator. Yeah. So I blew some snot on my shoes. Oh shit. No, I didn't.
We even made a new friend.
Woo!
Joachim from Austria. He's been trekking by himself, and we met him in our homestay.
What app you use?
And for once, I wasn't dead last in the group.
My long lost Polish friend.
Guys! Lens was here first. It's an incredible day.
Oh, mahal kita.
Oh yeah.
We even met a Nepali restaurant owner who knew some Tagalog. His pancakes were delicious.
And now some ketchup.
After our snack break at Kangsar, we encountered a monastery. At 3.7 thousand meters, it had to be one of the higher monasteries in the world. An important artifact of Tibetan Buddhist spirituality and culture.
Yeah?
More than anything, though, it conveyed a sense of peace amidst this harsh environment. The calm before the storm. The wind picked up. It started to get steeper. The mountains got larger. Throughout this trek, I hadn't been recording as much.
He's trying to be a hermit.
Sure, I was energized and moving at a good pace, but it was getting tougher and tougher to breathe each day.
I'll work hard first.
I had to focus. But the cold was getting to me.
Oh man, I just washed my hands. I think right now it's like -2, -5. It feels like my hands are burning. Oh, it's getting a bit discolored too. I'll tell the video you were drinking water.
And when I reached Shree Kharka, a village just before Tilicho,
Right now.
it became clear just how exhausted I was.
I think it's all gonna sink in.
And even Alex and Piotrek were starting to show signs of fatigue.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I was hoping we were near, but it was bad news. We had only covered 9 kilometers, barely halfway. And the trek from Shree Kharka onwards to Tilicho base camp would be the steepest. It was a long road ahead. And just when things couldn't get any worse. I saw this in a YouTube video 6 years ago. It looked like one of those ridges you make on a sandcastle. The path was precarious. Barely enough for 2 people. Just waiting for a gust of wind or some loose gravel for everything to come crashing. Landslides here were common. And this was the first time throughout the trek I thought I could actually fall to my death. There was one last landslide zone. And this time the wind began to pick up.
This wood is the only thing that's stopping a landslide from destroying us. It happens about the height here this way. But wow, it's so windy here.
Thankfully, I made it again with no issue. And despite the danger, I was in awe.
I just can't get over how far I've walked. Yeah, over there. We're so small and this smells so amazing.
Cold.
Yeah, very cold and windy here.
A lot colder than -5 degrees.
To the base camp. We're all just huddled out here trying to make some warmth. I look like a bomber.
I began to worry.
I think I'm wearing 6 layers right now. Call of the mountains.
How much colder is it going to get at night?
Behind the wind.
How many meters do we need to gain to reach Tilicho Peak?
15. Made it to the base camp, my friends.
I hope I can keep up.
Yeah. The lake was really difficult.
It was still pitch black when we started getting ready.
What's up, Alex? Give us an update.
It's cold.
Today we are going to Tilicho Lake. We're at Tilicho base camp.
To make it in time to Shree Kharka before evening, we needed to start our trek up Tilicho Lake by 5 a.m. The lake was only 5 kilometers away from base camp, but we'd need to climb 700 meters in elevation. Altitude sickness was sure to hit. After reaching Tilicho Lake, we needed to come down to base camp, pack up the rest of our stuff, then head back to Shree Kharka. If we didn't, we wouldn't make it in time for Thorong Pedi the next day. In total, we'd be trekking at least 10 hours across 20 kilometers.
We left our heavy stuff in the base camp so that we'd have an easier time climbing around 900 meters.
We wrapped our water bottles in our clothes so that they don't freeze.
Take care.
And got some hot tea, hot water.
Only the essentials made it.
And we got our headlights on.
A lighter pack could mean the difference between reaching the lake on time or being
5,
caught in a gale.
Maybe 7 liters of water.
Winds could reach up to 50 kilometers per hour. Conditions weren't
I
great.
think it'll reach minus 18 degrees there. This is my second time seeing snow, I think.
Second time.
Oh, the snow is melting in my body.
Day
Okay,
number
1,
five or
2,
six?
3.
6! Woo!
Day number 6.
I could barely see.
But right now there is not so strong elevation, so you making photos?
And my pack was still too heavy.
Packed too much medicines that I should have just left. And I was carrying a lot of water for everyone else because I had the most water jugs. So
But the worst thing was the uphill.
it wasn't a flat trail. Like 80% of the trail was attack, ascent.
Sun's up. Breathing sucks. I'm dying.
And I guess just because, you know, like I have a difficult time generally going uphill and in high altitudes, and my nose clogs up really fast in the morning and when it's cold. So
Yeah, we are higher and higher. We are hotter and hotter. Stronger and stronger.
it was just very difficult for me to breathe and go up. And
My throat is gone. I was about to shout to you guys from there. Is it hot?
Yeah.
It's hot. Not too hot.
It's warm. It's warm. You can drink. It's okay. You can drink. One sock.
We are on the level of 5,000 meters.
Never been so close to death before.
Lance, do you love hiking?
No, not today. It's my most challenging experience ever. I feel like I really pushed myself so much these 6 days. I think it's gonna sink in later. Right now I just want to survive.
The path began to level out,
Attack the peak.
and I finally looked up. It was breathtaking. A literal fjord. My first time walking on an ice field. Snow-capped mountains and glaciers all around me. We had finally made it.
It's crazy intense.
Tilicho Lake.
They are not windy. Or they are just
4 hours of hiking. 9:30 a.m. I was freezing.
Windy here. Still cold.
The wind was deafening, but the four of us had
Manchester fan.
made it scratchless for the most part.
Come.
Put your hand in.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
guys, we did it. 1, 2, 3.
It's crazy. This scrawny kid was now standing on the base of a snow-capped mountain.
Lake, guys, at the summit.
This is like something special and something else.
I was content to sit by the edge.
Jam.
Tibetan bread with jam, hot tea, and it was one of the best snack breaks of my life. I quickly descended, ahead of the group as they were busy exploring some nearby glaciers. My body was shutting down. I needed lower elevation and warmer temperatures. I could finally stop and appreciate the views.
Wow. There's so many zigzags going up.
I made it to base camp by 2.
I took a 30-minute nap, took some paracetamol because I was feeling cold and my head was a bit hot.
I wanted to end my day there. But one way or another, I needed to keep trekking if I wanted to return to Kathmandu. And I would recover better at lower altitudes. Everything froze the next day.
I did some laundry by myself last night. This is how my brief looks now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's fully solid, crunchy texture. To be honest, I really want to go home right now. I think the biggest issue is, aside from the daily 5 to 6 hour treks, we have to sleep in very cold temperatures, and we have to wake up in very cold temperatures, and oftentimes, like today, there's no water, or if there is water, it's freezing. So just really small things like blowing my nose, washing my face, it's not as easy to do anymore. And there were times where along the trail I would have a lot of snot, mucus build up because of the cold and the dust, and I couldn't breathe, but I had to keep walking uphill because if I delayed any longer, the sun would set and we would all freeze. So I would just have to like blow my nose like on the side of the road. And even things like stretching in the morning is a bit hard because I have to stretch with all these layers on me, which are quite heavy. But if I take them off, I'll freeze. And I think the worst part definitely is the walking uphill when it's windy. I'm building so much snot in my nose and we're already a bit behind, so I can't stop, and it's just...
It wasn't only me. We were all starting to break down.
Good stretch. Nice.
We tried to find joy, or at least a burst of energy. Today was easier. As easy as it gets in the Himalayas. 10 kilometers to Thorong Pedi. An elevation gain of only 400 meters. Our last stop before tackling the mighty Thorong La Pass, one of the highest mountain passes in the world.
Aww.
It was really today that I learned to appreciate trekking with the team.
Hey! Ever heard of privacy?
Wow!
Joachim invited us
look
to
at
a
this,
photo
guys.
shoot by the village ruins.
Oh, never mind. Cutting it out of the video. Our engineer Joachim, who built this tripod setup out of trekking poles, and our director Peter from Poland.
It somehow worked, and I was laughing again.
Okay, that's good.
And so we took our time. Stopping at various viewpoints.
What are we doing today, Alex? Hunting.
Noticing little artifacts and appreciating each little snack break.
It's tea time. No. Sorry, I was tired.
If you eat something, we ask.
Alex led us in exploring.
Can be very painful.
It would be a shame if you fell. It's crazy, the crampons make such a big difference.
I never used them.
We took a break for some tuna pasta.
Good vibes, how can I say no? We finally found a unicorn in Nepal. Not at all. They look nicer on the yak though.
Attack position.
What kind of beast was that?
The Sherpas are crazy, man. The Nepali are crazy. They don't even
Find the Yeti.
Minus 12 degrees.
That's fucking proof.
It keeps their feet warm.
Fuck the shortcut because
And finally, we reached Thorong Pedi. We had two options: sleep at Thorong Pedi low camp, or sleep at Thorong Pedi high camp. The two camps weren't far. The real concern was the altitude. Low camp stood at 4.4 thousand meters, and high camp stood at 4.8 thousand. Sleeping at high camp meant shaving off 2 hours of pain tomorrow. But it also meant contending with altitude sickness at night. We decided to sleep at low camp. And so began the coldest night of my life. We woke up to a quiet sky. The air was still.
Day 9, my friends. And today we begin the most treacherous part of the hike, of the trek.
Our biggest challenge yet.
4 a.m. right now, or 5. And today we crossed the Thorong La Pass.
Thorong La Pass, 5,416 meters above sea level. I was scared to trek that day. I was traumatized from my experience in Tilicho Lake.
Still need some water. Oh, we made it. I rolled my left ankle a bit, so I have to be careful. Stepping, I'm gonna stretch it. I'm forming a lot of mucus in my nose, so I really need to have tissue with me all the time, or else I won't be able to breathe. And of course, it's really, really cold and dark. So this will be the most difficult hike of my life. And yeah, let's do it.
I've never felt this much pain in my life. The path to the high camp was the steepest one yet. It didn't help that my pack was twice as heavy. Unlike our trek to Tilicho Lake, we weren't coming back to Thorong Pedi. The worst thing was really the altitude. I couldn't catch my breath. I had somehow made it past high camp.
Woohoo! 5,000 meters, guys.
It was cold. Everything
sun.
felt numb.
Sun's about to go up. My toes are frozen.
After another 2 hours, we reached a small hut where we took a break.
Pocket to the right one, or not possible?
Morale wasn't the highest.
The wind is brutal. Yeah. But I don't know if we can make it.
What? Don't say that. They don't know you.
It's so crazy. And somebody stole my scarf yesterday.
The next few hours were some of the roughest.
The highest elevation of my life.
But they don't know you.
Yeah. What about you, Lance?
They know me.
They know you. But you don't know you.
I don't know me, yeah.
But we had already come this far. Might as well give it our best shot. After what felt like an eternity, we finally made it.
Thorong La Pass, woohoo!
I couldn't believe it.
Thanks, Alex. I almost gave up. No, I never really did.
There were too many thoughts running through my head, but I was just so
I
relieved.
had no choice, but the power of just putting one leg forward and another leg forward and just shutting down your brain. Just keep going.
Temperature, do you know how?
The worst part was finally over. I could finally relax.
The best hot chocolate ever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still needed to trek 10 kilometers and drop down to 3,760 meters to reach Muktinath. Thankfully, it was all downhill.
I'm once again beat by a 60-year-old man
We took our time
from Romania.
and appreciated the views, catching glimpses of the entire Dhaulagiri range. It was still incredibly cold, but we did our best to have some fun.
Yellow? Oh my god.
750 euros.
Nice.
Only?
We made it!
And we finally stopped for lunch, where we had the best meal with the best view. As we passed by the mountains, it began to sink in. This was the hardest thing I had ever done physically. But that single question, what if I took one more step? It got me to the top.
I don't mind.
Most of all, it reminded me I can do
I don't
anything
mind.
as long as I don't give up.
Time though when you catch fire. Look, it's always a nice shot when you get fired.